At the beginning of the movie, we see Heinrich running through the forest while some people are chasing him. After running for a while, he falls into a small pit and the enemy surrounds him. Just when the sergeant of the group is going to kill him, Vaughn, their leader, stops them. Vin's face is messed up. The enemies hang him to a tree. One of them purposely ties his neck in such a way that he suffers longer. While gagging, he envisions his son calling him with his wife. But before he dies, Elsa saves him by cutting the rope. Vaughn with his soldiers goes through a city. Everyone looks at him with fear. Elsa by time saves Heinrich by taking him to her house. Elsa and her brother Paul help Heinrich. The mayor of the village meets Vaughn. Vaughn asks about Lowenstein. The mayor says they used to live in this village, but they left. Vaughn orders the mayor to show him their house. They see the house that is completely burned down. Vaughn is looking for some gold that was present in the house. A woman named Sonia pulls the mayor aside and asks what is going on. She knows about the gold too. Heinrich asks Elsa why she helped him. She explains she hates Nazis for killing their father. Meanwhile, Vaughn has made the mayor's inn his personal headquarters. He asks all the civilians to leave the inn. The next day, the sergeant who hanged up Heinrich gathers civilians to dig the house for gold. He also gets into an argument with Vaughn. Heinrich also gets up and gets ready to leave. Elsa asks him to stay and eat some eggs, but he starts to get ready. He begins to leave just when Elsa says she needs some help. Heinrich comes back and shows her a picture of his wife and kids. He says his wife and son died, but the daughter survived. He needs to get to her as soon as possible. Elsa understands and says he should change his clothes, otherwise the Nazi will hang him again. Paul comes into the room and says some people are approaching. Heinrich recognizes that people are the same who tried to kill him. Without permission, they take Elsa's chicken and other animals. Elsa comes out with a rifle to oppose, but she sees the men and says don't take everything. He goes back inside and consoles her little brother. But the soldiers come inside and starts to dominate the room. The man sees there are 3 cups on the table and asks who else lives there. Elsa cleverly lies and removes the situation. Heinrich from above is watching everything, but the man gets close to Elsa and asks about her husband. Elsa says he is at war, but the man believes he must be dead. They throw out Paul and start molesting Elsa. The soldiers hold down Elsa as she cries. Just in time, Heinrich comes inside the room and saves Elsa by killing most of the men inside. Elsa helps him and throws a hot coffee at the man who tried to molest her. Elsa also saves Heinrich. Later, they gather all the weapons and thank each other. They all leave the house and walk into the forest. Paul is not happy he has to leave behind his cow, but Elsa explains to him their current situation. Paul wants to milk his cow because if he doesn't, she suffers through pain. The sergeant who tried to kill Heinrich and molest Elsa gets stitched up. He decides he will go back to the farm to kill the American soldiers. Heinrich and Elsa share a blanket and talk about their lives. They sleep a bit away from Paul. In the morning, Elsa wakes up and sees that Heinrich is still sitting and looking out for them. She asks if he got any sleep, but he says he had a small nap. Elsa calls for her little brother, but he doesn't answer back. She goes to the place where he was sleeping, but he is nowhere to be seen. Elsa gets worried. Paul goes back to the house to his cow to milk her. But the sergeant arrives there and tortures Paul, asking where his sister is. Paul doesn't share the information. In return, they kill his cow. They burn the house and leave. Elsa and Heinrich arrive and see Paul is being taken away. Vaughn reaches a dead end when the house doesn't give him any gold. He asks the mayor if he knew about any gold, but the mayor lies. Vaughn tells the mayor to gather all the residents near the church. Near the church, they decide to hang Paul inside the church. They hang a plate around Paul's neck that says worthless life. Paul pushes one of the soldiers off the church and kills the other one with a gun. Paul begins to shoot from the church, making all the soldiers hide. Except for Vaughn, everyone is hiding. Elsa and Heinrich finally get inside the church, but Vaughn with a sniper rifle shoots Paul, killing him. Elsa moans about her brother's death. They try to escape the church, but Elsa sees Vaughn and goes to kill him. She misses all the shots while other soldiers chase Heinrich back inside the church. Elsa empties her gun and goes to her knees crying. Heinrich throws a grenade and kills some soldiers. The sergeant corners Heinrich, but he throws a grenade and jumps through the window. He keeps going through the house and kills all the soldiers, but the sergeant finds him and they both get into a fight. While fighting, they both fall out of the house. Heinrich tries to kill the sergeant with a knife, but sudden gunfire from an American plane saves him. By the time reinforcement arrives, Heinrich escapes the location. He enters a woman's house. The woman doesn't call the soldiers and instead helps him. She treats his wound and the father from church arrives. They both are a couple. Heinrich asks if the father knows why the soldiers are here. The father explains they came here for the gold. The mayor, however, gets into a dispute with other citizens who are hiding the gold. The mayor decides to give up the gold because Vaughn is threatening to kill his son. But Sonia kills the mayor before he can snitch. Meanwhile, Elsa is having dinner with Vaughn, who tells her about his former lover. Elsa doesn't eat anything. Vaughn removes a ring from his damaged eye and wears the ring kneeling down. Vaughn remembers his crush when he looks at Elsa. He calls her Rebecca. Vaughn says he never got to marry her, but now he can marry Elsa and that he will do everything to keep her safe. The father explains what happened in the past. He says a Jewish family named Lowenstein came to the village. One of their sons married a wealthy girl. However, one day while arguing with the Jewish family, the citizens see they have a lot of gold. Even the father was there and saw how people harassed the Jewish family. Sonia and others saw the gold and decided to take it. They burned their house. The mayor and Sonia hid the gold inside a graveyard. But to Sonia's surprise, the gold is missing from the graveyard. But they find something else inside that grave, a Bible with highlighted lines. The lines say that a person should not steal or should not kill. Sonia instantly remembers that the father saw the gold too. Heinrich asks where the gold is. The father says it is in the church. Heinrich says he is going to give back the gold to the Nazis. Meanwhile, Elsa is sleeping next to Vaughn. She tries to steal his gun, but he moves his hand. Elsa gently opens his ring and sees something inside the ring. It is a suicide pill. She uses her pin to remove the pill, but it bounces out of the bed. Elsa carefully crawls out of the bed and finds the pill, but Vaughn gets up and asks what is she doing. She says she lost her ring and says it is loose. She puts the ring in her mouth. She asks Vaughn if he will protect her. Vaughn says he will, until the end of their lives. Elsa goes to kiss him, and while kissing slips the pill into Vaughn's mouth. He dies with the poison. Sonia on the other hand kidnaps the father. Heinrich throws a golden brick inside the inn. The sergeant sees the brick and asks what Heinrich wants. Heinrich says he will give the gold if they give it back to Elsa. The sergeant discovers that Vaughn is dead. He sends out a decoy to Heinrich and throws a hand grenade. Heinrich passes out before taking out a few enemies. They capture Heinrich. Elsa goes back to the preacher's house where she meets the lady. The lady takes out her rifles and says they will hunt each and every one of them. When the duo reaches the inn, they see Heinrich is being patched up. The sergeant can be seen giving Heinrich his blood. He asks Heinrich where is the gold. Meanwhile, Sonia has taken the father to the church for the gold. Even Heinrich is taking the sergeant toward the church to show the gold. When Sonia's friends touch the gold, it blows up a bomb, killing Sonia and others. The sergeants see all this and kill the father. Elsa is looking to shoot a rocket launcher inside the church, but she sees Heinrich inside and aims for the top of the church. The lady kills one of them and mourns her partner's death. Elsa and the lady take out soldiers one by one. The lady is attacked by the sergeant, but she stabs him and kills him. But another soldier kills her. Elsa gets shot in the shoulder, but she still keeps fighting. She manages to kill the last soldier. Elsa, while walking towards Heinrich, gets interrupted by the sergeant who hasn't died yet. Elsa finds herself out of bullets and tries to fight back, but she gets knocked down by the sergeant who begins to choke her. Heinrich tries to crawl toward her. Elsa slowly loses her life, but Heinrich from behind hits the sergeant with a gold brick. The sergeant hasn't died yet. Heinrich hits the gold so hard that it penetrates the sergeant's mouth. The duo begins to leave the church, and we see there is another person inside the church who is hiding. The team gets out, and after them, a medic soldier comes out and looks at the gold. But from behind we see Sonia, who is still alive, shoot the medic soldier for the gold. The duo listens to the gunshot but doesn't bother going back and keeps walking forward. Later, we see a Nazi car, and on the radio, the person is announcing that Hitler has died. Suddenly, the car is blown into pieces by an American tank. One of the soldiers says maybe they should have warned the car and seen if they surrendered. But their sergeant doesn't agree. When they check out the car, they see gold bricks. Apparently, Sonia was trying to escape with the gold but died instead. The soldiers decide to keep the gold for themselves and not report anything to their superiors, while Sonia dies a painful death. Right outside the church, Heinrich finally meets his daughter. Looking at her after so many years, he gets emotional. They both hug while he tears down on her shoulder.